The verdict countdown has begun for Ghislaine Maxwell. A jury today began their first full day of deliberations on the alleged accomplice of sex offender Jeffrey Epsein, who did not kill himself. They reportedly just ended for the day. The trial concluded after just 3 weeks. It was initially projected to take up to 6. Prosecutors brought 4 women forward to testify in the case, and Maxwell herself declined to speak. So, did the prosecutors bring enough to the table to convict the alleged madam? Here to discuss, attorney and professor at Northwestern Law, a great school. They've got purple colors. Andrew Stoltmann is back. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
So has the prosecution done enough?
No. I think a third-year law student could have won this case. And for some reason, Kennedy, it seems like prosecutors are basically going half speed in this case. Now, I don't know if it's because Mr. Epstein was affiliated with some of the richest, wealthiest men in society. This case was supposed to last 6 weeks long. It lasted 3 weeks. The opening statement was 35 minutes. They only called 4 of the victims when there were hundreds. I don't know what's going on, but it's very, very suspicious at this point, and it's causing a lot of people to scratch their heads.
So obviously, and you know, we thought, well, this is curious. They're only focusing on 4 of the women, and then you know, the logic was, well, maybe that's all they need. Maybe you know, this case is so damning, and these witnesses are so solid. So if she is in fact acquitted, can she be tried in other venues with other victims telling their stories?
No, these prosecutors got one bite at the apple, and there's all this low-hanging fruit, and they go after this person who, look, I think she did it. I think she's going to be found guilty, but there's so many other people who haven't been charged yet, Kennedy, and the question is why. These prosecutors asked her virtually no question about any of the other enablers. Who else were the passengers on the Lolita Express? It's inexcusable, and I don't know what they're hiding. I don't know who they're covering for, but it's really, really upsetting. We need to get to the bottom of this.
Yes, and if you read some of the books and if you watch especially the Netflix documentary, there were a lot of other people involved who saw abuse taking place. And you know, the question is, like, if based on the evidence that we've seen and heard about, if it's not a slam dunk, why haven't they talked to some of those people? So is the only explanation that they are safeguarding the reputations of rich and powerful men who were sexually abusing teenage girls?
It's so troublesome, Kennedy. And look, if it wasn't for that wonderful reporter with the Miami Herald, none of this would have came to light. So I hope she doesn't have to do more digging and publish more articles. But that's the $64,000 question. This is the Southern District of New York that has one of the best reputations in America in terms of prosecutors. And why they've only charged her, I don't know. Now, you know what prosecutors say, Kennedy. Yeah, and they always say, oh, well, we're still investigating. It's been years. Where are the other charges? Where are the charges against the enablers? And how come she's the only one who's been prosecuted? There are no good answers for that. I'm waiting to hear their response.
Because she was with him every step of the way. And she was also allegedly abusing these women, partaking in the abuse. And, you know, it's like shipping them not only across state lines, but to his disgusting little pedophile island. You know, she is guilty. She is culpable if these victims are to be believed. And there are so many of them, and their stories are consistent. I know the defense really went after these women. Is that a good tactic for the jury? Are you just throwing all caution to the wind because you just need one person to have reasonable doubt?
Look, these sexual assault cases are really, really hard for prosecutors to win for a multitude of reasons, right? Because she has a dream team of lawyers. These are events that happened 15 to 20 years ago, and their main defense is basically picking apart at the credibility of these 4 victims. But Kennedy, that's why you call 15, 20, 30 different victims, put them all up on the stand to establish what's called pattern evidence, because it's very hard for a jury to discount the testimony of 25 or 30 victims. When you only put 4 up there, then it's real easy to pick them apart. And my question is, how come prosecutors didn't call more victims to bolster the testimony of these 4 poor victims?
That's how Max Verstappen won. There are going to be a lot of questions. Either way, I hope they do due diligence and find her guilty here, because someone has to pay for these horrific crimes. Andrew Stoltmann, thank you so much.